definitely is not what I thought I was going to be making a video of, but here we are. Hey guys, my name is Alacia and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please remember to hit that subscribe and notification button so you can get notified anytime a new video comes out. So if you read the title of this video, yeah, it is true. I have recently been diagnosed with stage 2 liver disease, also known as stage 2 non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So we're kind of just going to go over everything that's happened almost in the past 2 months, how this all came about, how I found out, what happened to make me find out, just to give kind of a clearer picture. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you will have seen that I posted a couple of days ago that I recently got the diagnosis of this, but it's taken me a while to just kind of put the video together, put my thoughts together. It's easier for me to make a video instead of, it's easier for me to kind of make a video than to answer questions over and over again. But before we get started, if you see something in my mouth, I'm getting over a nasty cold, not COVID. Come up no get COVID negative like 5 times. I've tested myself. I've been having a nasty cold for last week and I have a throat lozenge in my mouth to kind of help me right now. I actually haven't posted anything on my TikTok since the beginning of May when I started feeling off, and it just, everything kind of spiraled rapidly, so I haven't had a chance to kind of just like breathe and like just get it under my head like what's going on. But I did post on my Instagram and my Facebook about the diagnosis, so I'm just here to kind of answer some questions that I got and tell you how I came about this. What happened was at the beginning of May, I started on my next 8-week challenge for Fit by Katie. If you've seen my past videos and on my TikTok, I've been on a weight loss journey, trying to lose weight, get my diabetes under control, and just like live an all over healthier lifestyle. I hit like my top weight after battling with depression starting at the end of 2019. I started rapidly gaining weight, and I just wanted to take control of my life again. And I know that getting my weight under control is one of the things I have to do to get myself back in the right, the right place. So at the beginning of the year, I started Fit by Katie, and I was doing workouts, and everything was great. I did a first 8-week challenge, lost like 25 inches. The second challenge, I was like hit or miss with it. I had my husband, who was really sick off and on through February and March, and we just kind of, it was hard to get in the groove of working out. So when the third 8-week challenge started at the beginning of May, I was ready, I was prepared to like hit the ground running, like let's do this. And I started the first week of workouts and it was fine, and then I went into the second week of working out, and on like, I think it was around the 5th of May, 6th of May, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was in excruciating pain on my right side. I actually thought someone was stabbing me. I joked with Zach and I was like, I woke up thinking, that's it. He's doing me in. It's that time. He's finally had enough of my BS and he's offing me. No, that's a total joke. He would never do that. But like, that's how I felt. I woke up thinking someone was actually physically stabbing me on my side. And I had been laying, I'm normally a stomach sleeper. I'd been laying on my stomach and I must have tried to roll going like right, and as soon as I did that motion is when the pain started. I kind of was like frozen in that position and it was like just searing pain, but when I was able to rotate myself out of that position, the pain instantly went away. It was so weird, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh god, that's weird. And then I just fell back asleep. I was like, ah, well, whatever. The next night, same thing happened. Sleeping, I must have been trying to roll over, woke up in excruciating pain. So this went on for literally 5 nights, like one right after another. It wasn't spaced out, it was literally one night, next night, and next night. And then after the 5th night, like even Zach's like, this isn't normal. So I made an appointment to get seen, because I'm like, okay, you shouldn't be waking up every single night feeling like you're getting stabbed in your side, like something's got to give. I then booked my appointment. I was able to get in kind of fairly quickly, so I booked my appointment on Monday, and I think I got in on like Wednesday or Thursday, and I went in to see a doctor. I go to Walter Reed National Military Hospital. That's where my husband's stationed. The only thing about going to like a military treatment facility is that like you're not always going to see your doctor. Like, it's whoever's on call. So unfortunately, like, my provider that I normally see, who's my PCM, she was not available. So I saw a resident doctor, very nice man. I came in, I was explaining like my pain, we were going over some things, and I have PCOS, right? I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was 18 years old. I have a history of ovarian cysts that come with PCOS. It's ironically, I was told at 18 that it would be very difficult for me to have kids, and haha, 4 kids later. So ladies with PCOS, I mean, I'm not saying don't trust your doctors, but like, don't think that it's the end of the world. Like, it can happen, because I have 4 kids to prove it. I'm not saying everyone is going to be successful, but like, I have PCOS. I have 4 kids. My sister also has PCOS, who I even think she has like a more severe version of it than I do with certain things. Now I have the diabetes to where she doesn't, but like my sister also able to get pregnant. So don't lose faith, ladies, if you have PCOS. Don't lose faith. I'm here sprinkling baby dust over you if you're trying to get pregnant. So I'm with the doctor, and because of my history of PCOS, they're like, oh, we know what it is. You have an ovarian torsion. And I was like, what? They're like, yep, you have an ovarian torsion. Like, we think your ovary has flipped over. It's what's causing the pain. And I remember laying there being like, okay, I know where my ovaries are located. The pain is way too high. But they were quite adamant. Normally, like, I'm kind of one to freak out if I think something's wrong, right? I instantly like, oh my God. But I don't know why. I just knew in my heart that wasn't wrong. And they were like, okay, we're going to get you down for ultrasound. We're going to have to get you in for emergency surgery. And my husband even attested this. Like, I'm normally the one, especially with the kids, that I'm something wrong. I'm like, oh my God, something wrong with my babies. I think the worst. And I was just sitting there going, it's nowhere. Like, the pain is just too high. Like, I know my body. The pain is too high to be that. So I went to my husband's office after the appointment, and I said, hey, I'm going down to ultrasound. He's like, why, what's going on? I was like, they think I have an ovarian torsion. And he's like, what was that? And he looked at me and he's like, well, you don't seem very concerned. The pain just doesn't feel like it would be that high if it would be that. I'm like, but you know, I'm not a doctor. You know, I guess was I a medical corpsman, but like, I'm not a doctor. So let's go what the doctor says. And I go down to ultrasound, and like, they look at my ovaries. Now, they did confirm. So I have a history of cysts. They found a small one on my right ovary. Again, I literally get them yearly, so this is nothing new to me. Nothing I'm not used to. There's really nothing you can do to them. They rupture on their own. They get reabsorbed into my body. It's painful for like a day, and then I'm over it. I know I'm making that sound like no big deal. Like, the pain is pretty severe. It's debilitating. I get to the point where like, I'm like curled up in a ball. I can't pull myself out, but like I said, it lasts a day. I'm over it. I've been dealing with it from I'm 18, but there was no torsion. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. So I go back in, and they're like, you know what? I go back upstairs. They're like, you know what? You've been working out. We feel like this might be a strain. Like, relax. Take it easy. Like, no working out for the next week. Let your body rest and get back into it. I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's plausible. Like, I have been working out. I'm lifting weights. Definitely could have just irritated. So I stopped working out, and like 2 days later, like, the pain had gone away, and I stopped lifting weights, and then 2 days later, like, the pain kind of went away. Then I started noticing randomly throughout the day, I was getting like a quick stab in my side. Like, when I was doing something, moving, I was like, ooh, ah. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, like, I really must have done something over here to like having it flare up like this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, the workouts that I've done, like, there aren't anything new. I'm not like, and I just kept thinking to myself in my head, I don't think this is it. Like, it doesn't feel like a strained muscle, because I should be feeling like achy all the time if it's a strained muscle. I don't know. I just knew in my head that I didn't feel like that's what was wrong. So I got a call back a week after that doctor's appointment, and the doctor asked me, he's like, hey, how are you feeling? And I was like, you know what, sir, like, it's now progressing, and I feel like I'm feeling this random pain like throughout the day now. And he goes, okay, I still feel like it's a strained muscle. He prescribed lidocaine patches to put on my side to help with the pain. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, I'll follow up with you again in a week. All right, no problem. At this point, the pain is now slowly and steadily becoming more and more like, it's a dull ache that's always there. I'd say on a pain scale, like, it was like a 3 or 4. You could feel it, you knew it was there. It wasn't debilitating, but it was getting annoying, because it was just like, it became from night to randomly to now, it was all the time. Like, the pain was just all the time. And I started like thinking and looking up different things what it could be, and my husband was like, you know what, maybe it's your gallbladder. I'm like, you know, that makes sense. I also, after that follow-up appointment, had an appointment with a dietitian that my husband and I went to. I went to a provider to talk about like my weight and just getting help in that area, because I've really been struggling. Like I'd at that point been losing inches, and I know muscle weighs more than fat, but like my actual weight was not coming down on the scale, and I had almost plateaued even with me changing up my diet and doing certain things. And I had seen like a nutritionist and a dietitian, and this doctor was actually like a actual like weight loss like she does, like if like you need to be prescribed like weight loss medication, she's like the actual provider that does that. And we went in and we kind of just went over my entire history of everything, and she laid me on the table, and she's like, you know, feeling around, and when she got to my side and she pushed on it, I dang near came off the table. Like it was bad. And she goes, oh, and she comes over, she goes, I'm gonna push again, and she's up on my rib cage, and she's kind of pushing down and under my rib, and she goes, okay, so pain? I'm like, yeah, that's definitely tender. That does not feel good. And she goes, okay, that's not good. And this is where my husband was brought up. He's like, you know what, I've been thinking like maybe she has gallstones. Again, my husband's like a sub IDC, an independent duty corpsman. They've had extra medical training. He is like the Navy equivalent to like a PA. Just in the Navy, he doesn't have the license for it. He's actually working on that right now. Super proud of him. And like that's what he does. So he's like, I think that it's her gallbladder, you know, but obviously my husband can't diagnose me because he can't see me as a patient. And she goes, no, I agree with you. I think that it is her gallbladder. Like, we're gonna need to get an ultrasound on your gallbladder. Okay, no problem. And we're just talking about like different things. I told her how frustrating it's been, because I'm just like plateaued, I'm stuck, like nothing's working. And for those of you who have weight issues, or you have like a diabetic issue, you know how hard it is to lose weight. Like, it irritates me when people are like, oh, you're not trying hard enough. Well, you have a medical issue that's not helping. Like, working out and eating right sometimes isn't enough. Like, when you have something in your body that's fighting against you. So like I said, I know I want to get healthy. I want to be healthier, not only for myself, but for my kids. And I want to be around for a long time. And I know I need to get this weight off of me, because it's really been jacking with my diabetes. I've been having a lot of low blood sugar issues, and I'm just going to get all that stuff figured out. Well, when we were sitting there with her and she was reviewing, because I had to get blood work before this appointment, she brought up the fact, very nonchalantly, she's like, oh, your liver enzymes are elevated. And I was like, okay. She goes, so she's like, normally that means like you might have a little bit of fat deposited into your liver. She's like, you're a little bit overweight. So she's like, you know, it's probably that, you know, there's probably some stuff going on with that. We definitely need you to get your weight under control because of how it's elevated. And I want to point out right now that looking at the paperwork, my blood work and like the scans don't match. Like, if you were going just off my blood work, you wouldn't think that I would be at a stage 2. Right? So she said it nonchalantly. My husband and I looked at each other and we were like, oh, okay, obviously, what's over here? Let's get it under control. We don't want that happening. And that was pretty much it, like, during that conversation. Like, it was like, oh, yep, I see you're a little bit, like, I see you're elevated. Like, we definitely want to get your weight under control. But before we can prescribe me any kind of medications to try to help me, I need to get my blood sugar because of the dropping blood sugar. She didn't feel comfortable prescribing me anything until I saw the endocrinologist about why I've been having weird, like, and I mean, when I drop, I'm dropping into like the 30s. So we need to kind of figure that out, that aspect of it, before we get medication that might make it worse, right? Because we don't mean to keel over. Okay, cool, not a problem. So I get referred out to get another ultrasound, because, like, again, we think it's my gallbladder at this time, gallstones. Looking up the symptoms for gallstones, right? Literally every symptom I have. I'm like, makes so much sense. So kind of going through the motion, I get referred out for the ultrasound because they couldn't do it at the hospital. And I get a phone call and they're like, hey, we can't see you at the hospital, we're gonna have to refer you out in town. Finally get able to get the ultrasound for out in town. They can't see me until the beginning of June. And this is like mid-May. And I was like, oh, this is such a pain in the butt. I'm like, okay, well, I don't really have a choice, right? And make the appointment. Now again, pain is just constant. It's starting to increase a little bit. It's starting to hurt a little more at random times. And get to Memorial weekend. Good job, go take a break, okay? We get to Memorial weekend and I'm just like, I'm really hurting. It's not good. And the night, Memorial Day, I had pushed through the pain all day. And I looked at my husband and I said, I'm gonna go lay down, but like, I'm not feeling well. He's like, okay. So next morning he gets up, it's like 4 in the morning, he's getting up to go to work, and he looks at me and he goes, I was awake because I didn't sleep through the pain. And he's like, how are you feeling? I said, I need to call my mom and you need to take me to the ER. Now, a lot of people have already gotten on to me like, why did I wait? Yeah, I probably shouldn't have, but in the retrospect, nothing happened at the ER anyway, so I wanted to let my husband sleep because I didn't need him being grouchy. It would take my mom like an hour to get to us. I wanted her to get some sleep, but she was gonna have to deal with the kids, so like I called my mom. She got down here to us, and then he went and took me to the hospital to go to the ER. We get in there, again, I'm going over all of my symptoms, and they're saying the same thing. Yep, it sounds like you have a gallbladder. You're having a gallbladder attack. Like, we need to like kind of prep you for surgery. We're gonna send you for an ultrasound though to just, you know, look at it one more time, or to look at it to just verify everything before we go in there. They come in, they're giving me the IV, and they had asked me at that time if I wanted pain medication, and I declined pain meds, and they gave me Tylenol, like IV drip Tylenol, and I said, if we're gonna go in to do surgery, I've never had surgery before in my life. I wanna be lucid. I wanna know what's happening before I go into surgery and get knocked out. So I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm very anxious about surgery. Like, they were gonna have to give me like they were gonna have to like knock me out and give me some anxiety meds before they even put me under. So I just wanted to know and be in control. So I was like, I'll hold off on the medication right now until we can like kind of figure out this needs to happen. So I go down to ultrasound, they do the ultrasound, and they send me back up. And at this point, we're just waiting for them to come in to take me back for surgery. And they come in, and like, you know when like a doctor comes in and you can just tell something's wrong? That's what this was. They come in, they were like, hey, your gallbladder is completely normal. We even had your kidneys scanned. Maybe it's a kidney stone. Your kidneys are completely fine. You don't have any stones. But what we did see was that your liver is enlarged. Like, my liver is enlarged. They're like, you know, we went and we saw that your blood work shows like elevated enzymes on your liver. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, like the doctor told me like elevated enzymes liver, but like enlarged, isn't that bad? I'm thinking to myself, like, enlarged liver, that's bad, that's not good. And they were like, we're gonna refer you to a specialist. You need to get seen by gastroenterology, hepatology. And I was like, okay, all right. Again, I'm not at this point thinking that like, I wasn't thinking that it's severe, but in the back of my mind, I knew with the way that they were being and the pain that something wasn't right. You know, like, you don't want to jump the gun. You don't want to think the worst. Like, that sends you down a whole rabbit hole. But I just knew, I'm like, this isn't good. Like, they were kind of like almost walking on eggshells. They weren't really telling us what they saw in the liver. They were just saying it was enlarged. I remember Zach asked them, like, well, what did you see? And they're like, oh, we can just tell it's enlarged. Oh, no, they did say that they saw, something on my liver, but they needed it to be read by hepatology, right? And that's when I was like, okay, this isn't good. Like, and he's looking at me, he's thinking the same thing, like, okay, this isn't good. And kind of was just sent home with painkillers. And that's another thing I want to bring up. Like, I don't do painkillers, right? Like, I have a family, you know, that have addiction issues. I've had family members that had addiction issues. I don't put myself in a situation where I could become potentially addicted to something, right? It's super easy to become addicted to things. And I don't like taking pain medications because, one, 9 times out of 10 pain meds don't work on me. It's just what it is. My body metabolizes it too fast. Same thing with epidurals. When I had my kids, I tried 4 times for epidurals. All 4 times the epidurals failed. they metabolized too quick in my system, and it was just a waste. So either I have to be prescribed something extremely high, like morphine or Dilaudid, or I just don't take it because nothing else works and it just makes me nauseous. So they actually gave me pain medicine at the ER, right when I finally was like, okay, we're not doing anything, I need something for this. And I won't forget, and I told my husband I was convinced, but he's like, no, they wouldn't do that. I thought they actually gave me a placebo at first, because I thought that they thought I was pain seeking, because they gave me a pill, and like they're like, okay, we're gonna come check on you in like 30 minutes. I came in and like nothing, absolutely nothing had changed. So she came back in, I looked at her and I was like, what, did you just give me Tylenol? Because nothing's different. And like the nurse looked at me and she goes, you're not feeling anything? And I said, no, nothing has changed. They leave, they come back in 30 minutes later and they're like, are you still not feeling anything? And I said, no, I'm not, absolutely not. And they wound up prescribing me pain meds, and I had to take another one on top of it to start even remotely feeling anything. And then like it was only for like maybe 30-45 minutes that like I was in that like stage, and then it was gone. So it's pointless for me to take them. Like I said, I don't like, normally they don't do anything for me, and I have to be prescribed like a pretty high dose of pain medication to do anything. And with 4 kids, like I'm not gonna just be laying in bed zonked out when I have 4 kids running around the house. It's not how it works. I just suffer in silence and I get through my day, and it is what it is. Even with my ovarian cysts, when they rupture, I don't take anything. I kind of just tough it out, because in the back of my mind, I'm always like, what if there is an emergency and I'm high on pain pills? Like, how am I going to care for my children if I'm taking a pain pill and I can't function? That's just me personally. I don't know. So I just don't like doing it. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know. So we come home and it's just like a waiting game after this. Like, I have to wait 72 hours for the TRICARE military referral system to process a referral. And then we were able to, like, once I waited the 72 hours, so this happened on Thursday, so I had to wait Friday, Monday, Tuesday, right, because it's business days. And one Wednesday I called. I was able to schedule an appointment with hepatology pretty quickly. Zach and I go to hepatology, and we go in there. I had another round of blood work done before going in there. And again, I'm going in there thinking, okay, like, just a flare up, like it's irritated. I still wasn't thinking that something was like massively wrong. I'm outside right now, so if you're hearing a lot of noise, I apologize. We go to the doctor's appointment, and we sit down in there, and the one thing about being seen at a medical treatment facility, right, because I was active duty prior, is everything's online, so they can see my history all the way back to 2007 when I enlisted. They can see everything. Except for the 4 years before we got here, where I was being seen outside in a military installation. They had to like import my records, which was a huge process in itself, but they can see my entire history. So we went in and we're sitting down and we're talking to this doctor, and he's explaining things. And what already set this appointment off bad was, he said, okay, I reviewed your medical history. He's like, I've actually went all the way back to the beginning. He's like, and I can see where your liver enzymes have been elevated since 2008. And I thought Zach was going to come out of his seat at that point, because I was like, I'm sorry, this is 2022. You're telling me since 2008, when I was 18, because I joined the Navy at 17, right? I had to sign a waiver to go into the Navy when I graduated high school. So you're telling me from my 1-year anniversary that my liver has shown. So every year in the military, you have to get your annual physical done, which means blood work and everything. So you're telling me since that first time I had it done, my first anniversary, my liver enzymes have been elevated, and no one has said anything to me about this. Starting at 18. Now, mind you, like, I'm obviously not a healthy weight right now. I'm not like morbidly obese, but I'm overweight. In 2018, I was 115, 118 pounds, an 18-year-old. Before I had kids, before the mom body, like, I was very tiny. So how would that, because I'm sitting here thinking it's because of my weight that this is what it is. No, my body has been doing this since 2008. We had blood work done to kind of rule out if there were any underlying autoimmune. There's a couple diseases that can make your liver start doing this, right? But we had the blood work and all of that came back normal. So I was told that it was most likely genetics, and that my body just has been basically taking fat, and it was like, oh, where are we gonna put this? We're gonna dump it in my liver, and it's not supposed to be there. So it really has nothing to do, unfortunately, with just how heavy I am. It's my body has been doing this, whether I'm skinny or large. It just chose that my liver was the place that if I had any excess fat, it was gonna start putting it there. We were then told that my liver looked like it had some scarring on it already. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean? And they kind of went over the whole, they're kind of going over the whole liver disease thing. And then they started kind of grilling me on how much I drank. Now, if you know me, I've never been that heavy of a drinker ever in my life. I'm a partier. I will throw down and I will party, but I've never been a heavy drinker. I think there's like maybe a handful of times I can remember going and being like, the heaviest I've ever drank in my life, but literally a handful of times. I don't like feeling out of control. I don't like being disoriented. I've had some issues happen before, and I just don't want to put myself in that position ever again. But I'm not a heavy drinker. I've drank to get buzz, but like I'm not a heavy drinker. And they were kind of like hounding the issue, like, no, like we're not here to judge you, we're here to help you, like how much you drink. And like my husband's like, she doesn't drink. Like, yes, when I was younger and I first got in the Navy, did I drink? Yeah. Did I party? Yeah. But it wasn't like, I literally only did it on the days that we, like, where we had a party, which is normally only on the weekends. Like, I never drank throughout the week. And it was annoying to me because I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't drink. Like, I know that it's crazy, but I don't drink. I just don't drink anymore. Especially when I started having issues with my diabetes within the last, 4 to 5 years, I've really cut back on drinking because it did nothing but make my situation worse and flare up what was going on. So that was kind of annoying to me. And they were like, okay, like if it's not alcohol related, because obviously you can have liver disease from drinking alcohol. They said there's another form of liver disease. It's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. He's like, so you're kind of in that realm. He's like, we need to get what's called a fibro scan to see if you have scarring on your liver. Basically, like, your body puts fat into your liver, and at a certain point, your liver can't take the fact that there's fat in there. It's not supposed to have fat in there, and it starts scarring your liver, causing fibrosis, and then those fibroids basically just start dying. Like, it's causing the cells on your liver to die, and you go into cirrhosis, which is when your liver fails, or cirrhosis of the liver. And that's when most people obviously need a liver transplant and all that other stuff. But so they diagnosed me with, like, we think you have the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And again, I was just still not comprehending, like, the fact that this was a serious issue. Like, I knew it was, and like my brain was like, no, it can't be that bad. Like, you're 32. You're not 60. Like, you haven't done the things to, like, to cause this. Like, you're not 300-400 pounds. Like, I'm pretty much up and moving around all day long. Like, no, this isn't what this is. Like, that's not what this is. And, they kind of go over, like, the stages of it, like, what happens. They told us that, like, if after I get a certain, like, the fibro scan, if they do find scarring, like, the scarring that's there cannot be reversed. There's no actual cure for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or alcoholic fatty liver disease. Like, once it's there, it's there. They don't have treatments for it. They have some clinical trials that they're doing right now, but there's really nothing that you can do besides obviously be a healthier weight, and live like more of an active lifestyle. But if my body is depositing it in there regardless of my weight, again, 2018, I was little, it's something that I'm just gonna have to monitor. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go get the scarring, like we're gonna go get the fibroid scan done, and it's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be that bad. So wait a week, go, and now we're into June, right? I had my appointment like the first couple days into June. I wait a week, and I go get the fibroid scan done, and then that was on a Wednesday, and then almost a week later, I was highly annoyed why it took them so long to give me the results of this, but it is what it is. I find out, I get the call, like the follow-up call of my results, and they're like, hey, you know, this is more severe than we thought it was. I'm gonna post a picture kind of showing the different stages. So it goes from an F0 to an F4, 4 being you're in complete liver failure, right? You need the liver transplant. And there's F1, where like you're starting to have some issues and like fat being deposited in your liver. F2, you're moderate intermediate, like it's getting to the point where like your body is now starting to get scarred, and we're going down the path, and you have F3, which is severe, and then F4, which is when you're in liver, like you're in full failure and you're on the liver transplant. And again, like I wasn't thinking that that's where, I was like, I'm gonna be like an F0. There's no way that this is bad. Like, no, I'm too, like I just kept saying like I'm too young, like there's no way. But on the same time, like the pain in my side, I was trying to convince myself that it wasn't gonna be anything, but then like when I'm having the pain, I'm thinking the pain isn't there for no reason. And they flat out said that. They were like, if you're having pain, it's extremely concerning to us, because normally if you're having pain, like you're kind of already farther off, because they call it like, so blood pressure is known as a silent killer, right? And liver disease is also known as a silent killer. Most of the time people don't know that something is wrong until it's too late, till they're too far on the actual spectrum and they're having a lot of symptoms and they're already far gone. Like, unless they get, like their doctor is prescribing them like a liver enzyme test to just check how their function is doing, like those are the only two ways you really know, right? And I got mad. I got really, really mad that this has been going on with me since 2008 and no one said anything to me. Not a single person. It's probably has a lot to do with some complications that I have in my pregnancy. PCOS causing the diabetes can also obviously have an effect on your liver. Like I was never told that. And I got like super mad waiting for the results, like super mad. Like I was going through like the emotions of everything, like, you know, the complete denial and then like the anger and all those little steps that you take when you find out not so great news. And when they called me and they were like, look, like you're already in stage 2, we need to push forward with a biopsy, because according to my doctor, my liver is at 66% already of capacity for non-fatty alcoholic liver disease. At 67%, I become a stage 3. Again, different doctors tell you different numbers. That drives me crazy, because one doctor might say, oh no, you're still in stage 2. According to like the clinic that I'm going to, at 67%, I become stage 3. So we have to move forward with the biopsy now to make sure that the scan is correct and I'm still in a stage 2, or if it might be that I'm in a stage 3. So that was great news, because I actually got a call back. So my doctor called me. I'm 100% in stage 2, but they want me to move forward with the biopsy to 1, to make sure I'm not into stage 3, and 2, just to see the severity of it, because I'm at like that borderline number. The other things that were talked about, because the biggest concern right now is we need to get the excess weight that is not helping my condition off of me. Now, granted, between the beginning of May and now, like I've definitely recalculated how I was thinking. My husband and I have been doing meals better, and I've actually lost about 12 pounds since May into now. just with kind of walking and like smaller meal portions. But it's also honestly a sign, like when you start dropping weight is a sign that like of liver disease. When I told my mom, like, it's a catch-22. Like when I noticed, and when I was in the period of waiting for the results, and I noticed the scale kept going down after months and months of trying my hardest to lose weight, and it wasn't going where I was losing the inches, but I wasn't losing the weight. It kind of also gave me the not so good feels of, okay, I was dealing with family members who have cancer. When you start dropping weight out of nowhere, it's never really a good sign, like drastically dropping weight. And for me, this is kind of drastic, like after being stalled for so long, and then yes, I've tweaked what I'm eating, but just to just kind of fall off like that, concerning. So I've lost the weight, but again, we're talking about like, okay, we need to kind of do something more drastic, to where it came up as, you know, they feel that I would be a good candidate for a gastric bypass surgery. And I'm definitely one of those people that's extremely hard on myself. I always think about what everyone else is gonna say. For what reason, I have no idea. Why do I care about other people's opinions? I don't know why. I fight with myself all the time on this. And I was even thinking about it before this whole liver thing happened. My sister has been telling me for a while, she's like, because of diabetes is so hard, like you need to do this for yourself. Like, who cares about what other people think? And I'm like, no, I have done this before, because with Weston, I gained a lot of weight when I was pregnant with him, and I fought tooth and nail to get it off, but I was also 21 at the time, 32 now. Like, my body is older, as much as I don't want to admit that, like, it's just not doing the things that it was doing when I was 21. And I was being really hard on myself, because I was like, no, I can do this. I don't need that. I can do this on my own. And unfortunately, it's hard. Unfortunately, it's hard, you know. Having a medical issue complicates things, and I wish the world would not look down upon people that sought medical intervention to help them get back into a healthy lifestyle. Because right now, just trying to survive for my kids. Like, just trying to stay earthside for my kids. Now at the point in my life where I'm like, screw it. I don't care what anyone thinks anymore. If people think that I'm taking the easy way out or the lazy way out, if they don't want to sit here and understand my struggle with losing weight, it's sad that like there's such a stigma around it, and it's not just me, because I'm in like some support groups on Facebook, and so many people say the same thing, like they've put off getting the surgery because of what everyone else has made them feel. They feel like a loser, that they're taking the easy way out. I have no problem going to the gym and busting my butt and working out. I actually like it. It gives me clarity. It makes my mental clarity better. But unfortunately, that is not a guarantee that you are going to lose weight. And like I said, right now I'm in a fight for my life. I need to get my weight down. They're hoping, a lot of people who are able to lose weight when they have liver disease are able to bring some of that fat out of their liver. They're able to like pull it back, suck it back out of them. But again, unfortunately, because of how my body was doing this before I was even overweight, or I was ever even pregnant, when I was rail thin, like this might not even work, but I'm gonna try. So I said yes to going through like the bypass pathway, as they call it, and I am to the point where I'm just like, you got a problem with it, peace, stay out of my life, unfollow me, go talk about me, like that's fine, but I'm trying not to die. I'm trying to get my life back under control. I want to be here for many years to come, and if this is one of the ways I can help it, then I'm going to do it. So that is the plan right now. Again, I still have to even wait for this biopsy. So I have a biopsy scheduled for July 12th to see just how bad the scarring is, to make sure I'm not in a further stage than the FibroScan was saying. But either way, I am doing what I need to do to help I'm doing what I need to do anything, because like I said, there's no cure, there's no medications I can take. I basically am just trying to pull the fat out of my liver, and there's people have had great success with getting the bypass and having some of it come back out of my liver. At one point in my life, will this progress? We don't know. Will 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, even no matter what I'm doing, could this progress to stage 4 and I need to be put on a liver transplant? It's a 50-50 right now. You're okay. There's the bejesus out of me thinking that, you know, I might be taken from my husband and my children and my parents and my sisters and like my brothers and my nieces and nephews sooner than sooner than I've ever planned on being. I mean, we don't know when we're gonna leave like the world, you know what I mean? God, something can happen tomorrow and I wouldn't even be here, but I'm doing what I need to do to stay earthbound, to stay healthy. My little one's behind me giving me the thumbs up. You gonna come give the thumbs up to the camera?
Give the thumbs up on this right.
Okay. But he's, you know, the reason why I'm not giving up. So that's the next step is a biopsy, and then getting cleared to do the bypass and get the weight off of me. And I'm also trying this, it's called like a Mediterranean diet. There's different people that had the same disease that have had really great results with switching to like more of a Mediterranean diet and pulling fat out of their liver. So I might be able to pull the fat out of my liver, right? Let's say I lose the weight and I'm able to like recess that fat out of my liver. The problem is, because of the amount of scarring that I have, like that's never going to go away. We're also gonna be talking to the doctor just to see about like if it's like getting the CT scan, to see if it's kind of put into one central location, the scarring, and if we can't remove that, because your liver is one of those organs that can self-regenerate. If it's in like a central location, we might be able to like cut it off and keep it from progressing and spreading, but so much has to be done. Again, the biopsies first, then I'm gonna do the CT scan. I'm on the bariatric pathway now to get the surgery to help me with losing weight. I'm not gonna stop working out. I'm not going to stop, you know, the diet and eating right. I'm just getting something extra to help me drop the weight as fast as possible to keep me from progressing into stage 3 or stage 4, where I'm already in liver failure. I welcome you to watch my journey with me. I'm also saying, please, at your yearly checkups, just ask them for a liver enzyme test. Make sure you're okay. This is something that can just creep up on you without warning, even if you're not a drinker. So hi, that's me. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to me. And I'm gonna be doing this journey. You guys are gonna see more videos of me going through this journey, trying to just take my liver back under control. Ma'am, getting feisty in your old age, okay? I need you to calm it down. She's being a pain in my butt right now. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.